We caught up with author and historian Karen Lawtis in the Gaithersburg Town Cemetery. She and a co-author gathered the county's best ghost stories in a volume called In Search of Maryland Ghosts, Montgomery County. More than 50 scary stories fill the book. Our local landscape is awash in haunted houses. So, it's no surprise sightings have been reported at Gaithersburg's Kentland's mansion.
Juliana said that on multiple occasions she saw what she thought was her grandfather after he had died in that room.
Then there's Glen Echo's Clara Barton house. The Red Cross founder, dubbed the Angel of the Battlefield, lived out her days here. And some say she never left. More than one passerby has described seeing her in a window. Even the Historical Society's headquarters, the Beale Dawson House, hosts its own unexplained apparitions, like the phantom bricklayer sometimes seen at the remodeled front door. Chances are you've never heard of the Maryland mine up near Great Falls. Back in the late 1800s, its owners extracted more than $3 million in gold. But a fatal mishap gave boom times a whole new meaning.
There were a couple of miners who were going to blast a new shaft, and it was evening, and they had gotten a bottle of whiskey from Georgetown, and they just had a few nips before going into the mine. They lit their lamps, they had their box of dynamite, they decided to just have one last drink. They put their lamps down on the bench, and one of them put his helmet down next to the box of dynamite. Not a great idea, because the dynamite, one of the fuses caught, and one of the guys got out of there, and one of them died.
After the explosion, animals kept their distance. The night watchman quit after encountering a Tommy Knocker, a ghost that haunts mines. He described its glowing red eyes and 10-foot tail. But the story ends with an interesting twist.
The mine shut down, but in the process they had brought up a lot of ore that was never processed. And they used that ore in the paving of MacArthur Boulevard. So Montgomery County, the streets are really paved in gold.
Legend has it that during the Civil War, this bridge was the site of a ghastly encounter between a soldier and a sword. During a skirmish, the horseman was decapitated by an enemy saber, and as the story goes, he was hastily buried in an unmarked grave, but his head was never found. Residents nearby tell stories of seeing a ghost they call the Headless Horseman. The serenity of Clopper Lake and Seneca Creek Park stands in stark contrast to its movie-making history. Fans of the homegrown hit The Blair Witch Project may be familiar with its scenery, since some of its frantic scenes were filmed right here. We continue our ghostly tour at another well-known landmark, Glen Echo Park. Back in the roaring 20s, the coaster dips attracted plenty of adventurous riders. At over 70 feet high, it even offered a distant view of the Potomac River. But in 1929, the dip screeched to a halt when a 21-year-old man fell off the coaster to his death. Nearby neighbors claim some nights they hear him screaming, while the world-famous carousel goes round and round. As our Halloween story comes to its eerie conclusion, we had one final question for our ghostly author. So, do you believe in ghosts?
I will say I don't really believe in ghosts.
In Gaithersburg, MyMCM for MyMCM.